Gentlemen, welcome back to the shop. I think I jinxed it. Previous video I said this saw hasn't let me down yet. I bought this saw in I think 2013. I think it was somewhere thereabouts. So she's on 11 years old, and sharpened up the chain. Did a couple of things there. If you want to see the video of how I did it, look here in the description. But nonetheless, I almost pulled myself into a heart attack trying to get this thing to start. So she does not want to run at all. No spark by the looks of it. We will troubleshoot and make sure that it's a no spark issue. If that's the case, I think we can easily sort it out. I went to my local dealer and got some replacement spares. I did also pick up a carburetor service kit. New spark plug, and what else did I pick up? New chain. The other one was a bit wonky. What we found out was that the teeth, some of the teeth were bent on that chain, and then also a can of carburetor cleaner. So let's get into it and see what we can get. What we'll do is we'll do the easiest one first and check the spark plug and spark. So I'm just going to reposition the camera and let's see what we can find out. Okay, so let's quickly get the covers off, get the air filter off. Come on. Okay. Get this little plug out. Get the plug wire off. The spark plug takes a 21 plug socket, standard plug socket. If you see someone working on the side, the little man is helping. Like I said, we're starting with the easiest first. There we go. The spark plug is totally soaked. Come on, focus. Here we go. As you can see, the spark plug is totally soaked. So let's see. Let's see if we've got spark on this thing. Just gonna stick the now I'm going to stick a screwdriver in here. I don't know if you guys will be able to see. And of course, yes, the screwdriver is just going to be in the way. Ons gaan hom nou oopmaak, sien? Put the saw on. Let's see maybe I can. Okay, so I've got the spark plug out. It was a bit, I wouldn't say caked on, put a little bit of a wire brush to it. Let's see if we've got some spark here. So I've got my screwdriver in the, let me see if you guys can see here. Yeah. Now I've got the saw in the on position, and I think I'm going to get shocked. If this thing has got spark, I'm going to get shocked like it's nobody's business. But it doesn't look like it. No spark. I can even touch it. And this thing is supposed to electrocute me. And I feel a little bit. Do I? I do feel a little bit. So let's open it up. First of all, there's not a lot of electricity here. So let's put in a new plug and see if that makes any difference. I know it's not, but nonetheless, just for you guys to be able to see it. Here we go. Chuck the screwdriver back in there. I do feel a little bit, but so there's something's happening, but something's not right here. What I'm going to do is this spark plug has been running for so long, I am just going to change it out. Just gonna, but before we do that, I'll do that later on. Let's get this thing open first. I'll be back just now. I'm just gonna get all my tools and all of that and rearrange you guys. Alright, so now we've got it on our side. Gonna remove the recoil starter. It's got 4 bolts. All of them are the same. This one has got a little cup in it. Sorry, the little man's working with me again this morning. That is his pneumatic drill noise. Okay, so once you've got these 4 bolts out, you can just slip out the recoil starter. And there is our coil. Now either we've got a bad coil or a bad connection somewhere. I don't want to take this whole thing apart, but it seems I'm going to have to. Hy pas daar. Kyk, draai hom daar. Kykie. Draai daar.
Passa.
Hy pas daar.
Passa.
Dat sê.
Passa. Passa.
Dat sê. Okay, now that we're in it, this is the coil, this is the flywheel, we've got the magnets on the flywheel. So what we'll do is, the gap between the coil and the flywheel doesn't look too bad, but we'll recheck that. But first of all, let's root out the additional wiring from the switch, etc, etc. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take off this grounding wire, because that's a kill switch wire, and then I'm going to recheck for spark. Well, firstly what we need to do is get the just gonna bend this one out of the way here. Put the recoil starter back on, and I'm just gonna put 1 or 2 screws just so we can test it. Come on. There we go. Well, with the kill switch wire removed, it should root out any grounding problems. But we'll check just now. Okay, so I've got it back on, putting in the new spark plug. And now, remember now, with the kill switch removed out of circuit, you cannot start the saw with a plug in, because then it's going to run away, you'll never be able to kill it. But with a spark plug out, she won't start, so. Still no spark. There we've got some spark now. I felt it. Honestly, I did feel it. I'm going to switch off the lights and see if we can see spark there. Okay, so our coil is working. Now to look for the problem. I take off the recoil starter again. Just gonna clean up all the contacts. Maybe there's a bad joint somewhere. what I'm going to do is I am going to take out the coil and just check the wires that we haven't got something weird or funny somewhere. We'll set the gap on the coil again. Doesn't seem to be corrosion and stuff on here. Okay, so the ground wire that runs through the engine back to the kill switch, that one seems to be in place. A little bit of carb cleaner on here. Okay, so the gap between the coil and the flywheel should be between 10 and 12 thou, which is what, 0.25 and 0.3 millimeters. My math in my head is correct. So I've got a little piece of cardboard here. So that is 0.4. That one is too thick. Let's quickly see here. Maybe the spark plug on the money. That will be our feeler gauge. Let's just double check. Between 0.2 and 0.3. I'm gonna use this one and check and see if it works. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna snug it in, not tighten it up completely. Get the magnet on the flywheel out of the way. Otherwise, what will happen is, let me quickly show you. If you put it in, and it'll always stick to the magnet. So just get the magnets out of the way. Makes life a little bit easier. Now what I do, what I always do is when you're driving screws into plastic, put it in, turn it anti-clockwise till you feel it seat in to the groove, and then you know you're not going to cross thread it or do something weird about it. And we need this grounding wire to go in with this one. Once again, anti-clockwise till you feel it seating, and then you know you're lined up. The coil is loose. What I'm going to do is I am going to, where's my feeler gauge now? Put my gauge paper in there and turn until the coil attracts the magnets, or the magnets attract the coil. Somewhere thereabouts. And there you can see this, immediately feel it sticking, and that should be, oops, my apologies. And now that the coil is sitting right on the magnets, now we can tighten it down, and it should be the correct gap. Don't go too hard on the screws, they are going into plastic, but you don't want this thing taking off on you. Okay, so now you just take the piece of paper and just turn the flywheel and it'll come out with it. And there we have our gap set for the coil. Now I am going to put the kill switch back on, put the recoil starter back on, and see if we've got spark now, and what does the spark look like, and then we'll take it from there. I did clean up everything around the coil. There might have been something that was grounding it out there, so let's see. It's raining outside, so I won't be cutting trees today, it seems. I have to get on a ladder. Once again, anti-clockwise till you feel it seating, and then you can tighten it down. There we go. Stick a screwdriver in there. Make sure it's in the on position. And now we've got spark. So what's next on the list? Probably I'm going to put this old spark plug back and see. I think we've got a dead spark plug. We had a dead spark plug here. No, this one is also sparking. Okay. So now that we've got spark, let's check our cutoff switch. I'll just put it in the off position now. And nothing's happening there. Right. Okay, so now we can put the plug back in. Seems like we've got spark, we've got all of that. Okay, so just tighten the spark plug. There we go. And what's up next? The carburetor. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everything together, and most importantly the little air filter, and take the air hose and blow out all of the crap in here, so that we've got a semi-clean area to work with. Okay, once we've got everything, once we've got all the muck out, apparently this thing you can take out in summer. It creates better airflow through your saw. I've never bothered actually. So there we go. Take the air cleaner off. The airbox comes off with an 8mm socket. There we go. Just gonna clean this one off as well. Okay, so then once we've got that done, we need to take off the choke arm. Now how this goes is, I don't know if you guys can see there, right there at my finger, the choke arm, if you put it on, well, let's start. Switch it into the on position so that the choke arm can go forward on your hand. Then you just float it forward until it comes out. You don't have to fight it. And just let it be there. And now the next one would be the throttle. But let's see if we can get this thing out of here first. I'm going to pull off the fuel hose. Now these fuel hoses, they tend to be cracking in bad with bad fuel and stuff, so this one still looks okay. I'm just gonna see if I can pull it off, and it doesn't really want to come off. So let's see if we can get the carb off with it. There we go. Now it'll slip under, hopefully. Now this is the fuel pump, so we're just going to pull this one off. No, it's not. It's a breather on the fuel tank. It's just a breather on the fuel tank. So just clean that off. Make sure it's got all the muck off of it. Going to try and wipe off everything as far as I go. Now we need to take off the throttle. I think what I'm going to do, seems like this is how it's going to work. Once you've got depress your throttle, and this one should pop out on top and then just come out like that. There we go. That's what we want. Now the carburetor should slip out. Come on. And once we've got the carburetor out, you can just pull off the fuel hose on that side. Okay, so the little carburetor sits on the saw looking from the back like that. This is your choke lever, that is your throttle lever. So we'll be taking off the, let's take off the fuel pump side first. If I've got it correctly, this should be the fuel pump side. So that's the side taking fuel from the from tank. Just take off the little screw here. There you go, this thing's still full of fuel. Now what to look out for is that these little valves are still functioning. Looks fairly good to me. A little bit of schmoo in here. So I don't know, there might be something stuck somewhere in the jet. So I'm going to take this one off. Got a little gasket at the back. Once again sprayed out with carb cleaner. And make sure that there's nothing stuck in there. Just taking a carb cleaner and blowing out all the I think that's the one that we were missing. There we go. Might have had some smooth in this carburetor as well. Okay, let's get our little carb kit out. So what we're looking for is a little diaphragm, this diaphragm and this gasket. So just check, you're getting a universal kit, so there's a lot of stuff that you probably won't use in it. So it's not that one. Which one is it then? Let's quickly see one. I hope that this is not the wrong carburetor. This is the diaphragm on the other side, so I'm going to leave that one in there. Gentlemen, they gave me the wrong kit. No, this one doesn't fit. Okay, I am not going to use this kit. I'm just going to send it back with everything in it. I'll try and reuse this one. I hope we can get it to work. I'm just going to chuck everything back in the little bag. This will shoot back together again. Let's open up the other side. There's some muck at the back of the diaphragm. I'm going to take that out, clean that off. Still seems to be in decent condition. So first up, I'm just going to take out this little jet here and see if that's clean. Blow that out. Needle and seat still working. Nothing stuck there. Just going to spray that out as well. Now I'm going to put back the diaphragm. Doesn't look in too bad a shape. Let's get this whole thing back together again. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Now let's hope for the fact that we're using these old gaskets. I will get the correct diaphragm kit for this carburetor and redo it at some time, and maybe I'll make a video of it again. Let's rearrange you guys again so we can get this whole thing back together. Okay, so the other thing that you should take note of is this little gasket. Make sure that that's still clean and in place. It looks good from this side. So what we'll be doing is, first of all, put the fuel line back on. And now let's try and worm this whole carburetor back into place without pinching. You make sure that your fuel line is not pinched like I did this one just now. There we go. Fuel line's good. Now we can just put back the fuel tank breather. Come on. How did this go together? Down at the bottom, not at the top. Now look at that, bro. That should be it. Come on. Okay, so how this goes is you have to depress the throttle to get it into place to get the little plastic thingy hooked on. There we go. There we go. And that one in place, that's all in place, this is all in place. That in place. Now we need to hook the choke cable, well, choke rod back on again. There we go. Just make sure it's not stuck behind the switch where it is now. There we go. And now we can put the airbox back on. There was no gasket in there. Just gonna fit this one back on, and the two 8mm bolts comes on last. Gentlemen, just always be careful. You're tightening nuts on plastic. It's a recipe for disaster. If you feel like any which way you are a bit stronger today, leave it till tomorrow, because you are gonna break something off. There we go. Now no, we can't yet. Still got two nuts on the recoil starter to put back on. Okay, so let's see if we will maybe fire up. Whoa! This thing is breaking your arm off. What's happening now? Ah! Somewhere I put something back together wrong. This thing is kicking like a mule. I think I'm gonna put the bar back on. See if that helps. She's trying to rip my arm off. Do you want to tell me that this spark plug was loose and that's why we didn't have compression? Up and hell. I'm just gonna put it down on the floor so I can do this proper wise. There we go. Without a choke even. Let's give her a bash again. See how good she does. I've just got her in the on position, not even in choke or high idle. Gentlemen, and there we have it, and almost good as new STIHL MS250. I'm just waiting for the new cutter bar, new sharp chain, all of that on there. So what was the problem? We didn't really diagnose the problem. Initially it started off as not having spark. I think that was a grounding issue. Once we cleaned out everything, got that back running, and then we serviced it by going through the putting in a new spark plug, cleaning out the carburetor. I will definitely be getting a new diaphragm kit for the carburetor, but for now we've got a saw that's working. As soon as the rain's gone and everything's dried up a bit, I'll be gunning and getting back into trees. If you've made it thus far, thanks for watching. As always, please rate, comment, subscribe, and as always, stay safe.